as usual, you are very welcome to join me at my kitchen table, and I hope you had a good day. Today's session is a closer look at your study skills and ways of thinking. So tell me, what study problems do you have? And on a scale 1 until 10, where 1 stands for none at all, and 10 stands for way too many, where do you score yourself on having study problems? Don't cheat now. What does that tell you? Again, on a scale 1 until 10, where 1 stands for I don't have to make changes, and 10 stands for gotta make changes, dude. Where do you stand? And what does that tell you? Can I ask you a difficult question regarding the general approach of study? Yes? Okay. Please explain to yourself as accurately as you can in 5 bullet points what the obstacles are that cause you not to be doing so well with your study. You can't think of any. I don't believe you. Please get into your mental helicopter and look at the following view you see below you. Okay. As your coach, I looked over your shoulder while you were taking that note, while you were watching this view. And I saw what you wrote down, which makes me very curious to hear from you in which way this study problem of yours is related to your interest in the subject that you are currently studying. How interesting is that subject truly to you? I see you shrugging your shoulders again. Well, come on a scale 1 until 10, where 10 stands for totally disinterested, and 10 stands for I am completely dedicated to my subject. How do you score yourself? Now, don't cast that aside. Have a go at this in your own interest. I see. You are disinterested in the subject. Wow. As your coach, I cannot let you get away with that sweeping statement, though. Yes, I know I'm being very difficult at this time of the evening. And yes, I know you have come to this video for your tingles and relaxation, and you will get that. But by now, you also know that that is not what I am about primarily. You know that I use ASMR as a bridge for you to reach things that lie dormant deeper in your mind. And I see that you understand. Good. So give yourself 3 valid reasons for your disinterest and 3 non-valid reasons. 3. What does that tell you? Are you not clear what I mean? I hear you say. Okay, I will make it more specific. In which way is your disinterest related to the way the subject is being presented? In which way is your disinterest related to your own natural dislike of the subject? So in what way is this subject mostly wrong for you? And by the way, what is your definition of wrong? Yes, of course, you can take notes. Go right ahead. And while you're at it, I am very curious. Again, as your coach, I'm allowed to be curious. What do you, as a human being, really want to get out of studying? And as a human being again, what is your goal in life you want to reach more than anything? And don't relate then to the subject you are studying now for a moment. Regard it as if you have absolute freedom here. What was that you said? Something is dawning on you right now. Okay, that's very good. So, if you know what it is you want out of your life, what kind of subjects do you need to study to reach that goal? You have come up with 4 subjects, okay? I hear you say that this is like reaching little milestones, the dialogue we are having so far. Alright. So, this is what you would see from out of your mental helicopter when you look down on the territory you have described so far. Through engaging with me in a purposeful coaching dialogue. Hold on while I take these obstacles away and show you a different view. So as you said, giving you milestones or flagstones is exactly what a coaching session does. This, each of the questions and each of the parts of the session dialogue bring you to a different level from where you can look at, okay, which is the next one, the next stepping stone that I can get myself onto. To get yourself thinking in various ways. Thinking. By the way, I notice that the subject of your disinterest is among the 4 that you mentioned. What do you suggest you do about that? You don't know. So how useful would it be if I gave you an offering to get your mind going again? Yeah. Okay, so here goes. If the subject you are studying at the moment and that you are disinterested in, but if that subject is really closely connected to your goal, what creative ways of thinking are there then to make it more interesting for you to continue studying it? By letting go of your regular thinking patterns, you might free up some of your creativity. You say that you don't understand what I mean. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of drawings around thinking and thinking patterns. Don't look away after I put them on the table. Don't fall asleep. Hold on a moment. I'll get those drawings for you. Okay, I've got my drawings. So, before I show you these, let me ask you, do any of these ways of thinking resonate with you? And while you look at each drawing, connect them to your real time, real life, and specifically to your university study. Do you recognize some of them? Or do you recognize every one of them? And when do they occur? So, I know best thinking. I know best thinking. You go straight along thinking and not looking at other possibilities because you know best. Sound thinking. Are you staying in the no pain, no gain zone? The zone of comfortable dialogue? Or are you venturing into the zone of uncomfortable dialogue and even thinking of the heart of the matter, the elephant in the room? In other words, in relation to your study, what is it that is obvious, but you don't really want to think about it? Away from thinking. If this is the matter at hand, or the topic, or the occurrence, you don't want to face it, so you move away from it. Move away from it. Towards thinking. Here it's the other way around. The occurrence is here, and you go straight towards it. You face it head on. Upward spiral thinking, which is actually a good way of thinking, because it takes you from down, wherever you are, up. Downward spiral thinking, the opposite. Getting yourself down in the teeth. Cross-country thinking, which can be both good or bad. It can be creative, or it can be all over the place. You start thinking, and then you actually come to a couple of very bright insights out of the box, not in a pattern. Very adventurous way of thinking. Adventurous, creative, unusual. Cul-de-sac thinking. No matter where you think, no matter what direction, there is always a dead end. So it's trial and error, and it's very slow way of thinking, and it doesn't really bring you very much new or exciting stuff. You doggedly go from one, and if that doesn't work, you go to another, and if that doesn't work, you go to another, etc. Kind of thinking. First and second gear thinking. Where X is the moment of awareness, and you decide that going in the normal conventional way is not the option. Go somewhere else. So there is a acceleration. There is an acceleration at that moment of awareness, and a change of direction in the way you think. Avoidance thinking speaks for itself. You don't even go there, you immediately shy away from it again. You might approach it, but then no, better not go there. Here's a familiar one for you, because we worked on that one. if you want to reach it too quickly, becomes an obstacle to you, because it's a dilemma. Crossroad level thinking, you're familiar with that one now as well. No matter where you look, all you see is grass. Comfort zone thinking. Don't get out of your comfort zone no matter what you do. Stay within the boundaries. Needless to say that doesn't bring any new ideas to you. Inflexible, conformist thinking. From a set perception, this is the way it is, in one direction only. Here's one that is similar to a couple of them before. This time I've called it knee-jerk thinking, because this can also be a knee-jerk reaction. You're going along, oops, something happens, and oops, immediately you jump to a conclusion, for instance. Not necessarily good, because it's a reaction very often sparked purely by emotion. No-go zone thinking. I don't know how clear this is to you, but these are little no-go or no entry signs, leaving you only the white space to think in. So that doesn't really give you a lot of options. It makes your maneuvering space much smaller. No-go zone thinking. And the last one. Not letting go of thinking. But it must be done because I said from that point that I was going to do it, or yes, I said this is what I am going to study, and there's no way that I can let go of that idea. So these were a couple of ways of thinking, and it may be that some of those ways are the ones that you are applying to the subject you are studying at the moment. Have a little think at this moment whether it is feasible, conceivable, that any of those ways of thinking are yours. is closely related to your first goal, but that would mean that you could study different subjects. So you say that you find it difficult to collect and review academic and career information. So who or what do you have in your network that can help you collect that? Nobody tells you that you have to figure these things out all alone. Would you please write down at least 3 names of people you know and 3 organizations that you can get access to that can help you? Curious as I am, by the way, who tells you to study this subject? If it is yourself telling you to study it, what could you answer yourself? If it is your parents telling you to study this subject, what could you answer? What are your own wishes? Please produce 5 valid wishes. Squeeze your brain a bit here. Don't just come up with one. So I see what you wrote down in your notes, which makes me come up with the question: in what ways is a high status career what you want? And in what ways would it make you happy and fulfilled? I don't have any view on that. No. It's up to you. I would want to point out, as your coach though, that it is important that whatever career you will have, it would be wise to incorporate the factors fun, enjoyment, satisfaction, happiness into that. And by the way, what does fun in your career consist of? What does enjoyment consist of? Yes, of course, in relation to career. Okay. And satisfaction and happiness. I hear what you say. Take note of it as well, so that you won't forget. So could this be a bit of a moment of truth here? Let's enter a session for this evening. You've done good work. Here's a bit of further sound material to relax you.